like I say, there's just like a lack of enthusiasm about the whole thing, you know. And
The only reason why a dissatisfaction, or let's just broadly categorize it as something is unsatisfactory,
yeah,
right? Something is unsatisfactory. That it always has to be based on something, which means an expectation or a desire for something to be different than it is. This
yeah,
isn't, this is kind of a scientific view. For anyone, if we expect something other than what is in any way, and that doesn't happen, there can obviously be disappointment or dissatisfaction because there's a desire there. So the great teachings always talk about desirelessness. It doesn't mean the desire shouldn't be there, but desirelessness means points to the fact that it's our desires that are, especially if they're unfulfilled, that cause this dissatisfaction. What if you didn't expect any? It just is just a hypothetical question. What if right now you didn't expect anything from life? You have your partner, you have your work, you have a house, you have a car, you can go to Woodstock. What if you didn't expect anything? And then what would your life be like?
be a lot more simple.
Yeah, simple. Exactly. That's a perfect word. Simple. What makes it complicated is our expectations and desires and dissatisfactions, all based on the desire for something else other than, which is why before my whole life, I was seeking, and I saw it in rock and roll and drugs and all of that stuff because I was dissatisfied with life. I expected more. I wanted more than just nothing or just living this moment. So for me, it was trying to get there in rock and roll and then get heightened experience of life through drugs. And I did all of that for many years. And then I got on the spiritual path and all of that ended. But then the whole new paradigm took place, seeking the spiritual experiences and wanting more spiritual experiences and mystical events. And I had a lot of those. But that desire, that seeking, that discontent was also based on dissatisfaction, wanting a desire for something more than what there was. My one day in life, there was a desire for something more than to be ordinary. I wanted something special, rock and roll and drugs and experiences. Then spiritual, I wanted more than my ordinary self. I wanted spiritual experiences and enlightenment, and I had all of that, and none of it fulfilled me. And now I don't give a fucking shit. I'm just this guy, ordinary, and this work can go, my music can go, it all can go, it all will go. But I no longer I don't want to depend on the fulfillment of any particular desire for me to feel at ease, because that's just torment. I no longer want that. I don't even want to want something exalted or want something different than what this moment is right now, actually. Even in a subtle way, if we want something different than what is happening right this moment now, even a little subtle desire, something different from, and I'm not judging this is natural. We want something different than what this moment is presenting right now. That desire will cause tension for this moment, doesn't it?
Totally.
It can be a subtle desire, or it can be a great, like, overriding deep life desire that would really torture me or us. But when we really come home and know, and you've been through the intensive years ago, but we'll go through it again. My fulfillment is no longer dependent on this work that I do or music or even the house that we live in, which we love this house, but it can go, you know. My fulfillment is no longer dependent on any of that. I don't want to be dependent on anything that I know is ephemeral, because it's a fool's errand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a fool's to depend on any movement of life to give you fulfillment is a fool's errand, because it won't. It may temporarily satisfy, but it's ultimately unsatisfactory. Look at your whole life. You've had satisfactory moments, things that have happened that have been satisfying. And then a minute later, you're back in the dissatisfaction. All of us. So, you know, my work, it's about recognizing your essential being that is complete and fulfilled and whole and satisfied, and it doesn't actually need anything. Can still enjoy things. I can still want something, but I'm no longer dependent on the outcome to be as I want it to be for me to be at peace. I'm saying, fuck that. I fucking refuse to be dependent on some ephemeral movement to satisfy me and to be fulfilled. Fuck that. I'm standing up. You see what I'm saying, Dylan?
Yeah.
Because that will all come and it will all go. It will. And to me, to be dependent on any of that makes me a slave. And I don't want to be a slave. If I lose the house and I lose Bindu and I lose my money, I'll go live on Giri Balam Road. You've seen Giri Balam Road. I'll put on orange clothes and I will. Before I move back to America and get a job, I'll go live on that road and beg for food. I will. Because I don't want to be dependent on anything. I love everything in life. I'm not denying anything in life. I love Bindu and I love our home. I love the people I work with. I love music. I love it all, but it's all ephemeral. It's not going to give me any true satisfaction, really. And so I don't want to be a slave to any of it. I want to enjoy it, and I don't want to be a slave to it. This is freedom. You can feel it as I'm saying it. I can tell, you know, you can see. It's dignity in a way. It's like dignified, you know. Freedom is like the ultimate dignity. That's why I always say, fuck it. That's the highest teaching. Fuck it. Let it come and let it go, because it will come and go.
Mm.
And so you'll come. We'll get into it, man. We'll get into it again.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. I already feel way more dignified. That's interesting word because that's kind of how it's felt like this indignity after indignity. Like,
yeah, but it's not the, it's not the indignity, because life is filled with indignities. But are
yeah.
you going to feel indignified by it or not? You know, life is nothing. There's many indignities in life. That's the fucking the whole life, basically. But what are you going to do? You know, in the face of these indignities? You're either gonna, and I'm not pointing at you, it's true for all of us. We are either going to be a victim of those indignities, or we're gonna be a lion and say, no, I'm free. I don't need anything. And I can at the same time enjoy everything. You know what's, I've said it a few times, is it possible, and I say yes, but rhetorically, is it possible to fully love something in the moment and fully be passionate even in the moment without fear of losing it and without the dependency on it continuing forever for your fulfillment? That's rare. That's very rare. But it's possible to, in the moment, fully engage and then not give a shit if it's gone the next moment. You can feel the freedom in that. That's Indian teaching. That's karma yoga. That's like the depth of Indian. That's freedom, man.
Mm.
That is freedom. Because this life will give everything and it will take everything also. So some people want to avoid or push away or live in a cave because they don't want to have any of that. And some people just are only dependent on that, thrown around like a fucking roller coaster. But a free person is in the middle. A free person enjoys it all, coming and going, enjoys the suffering coming and going, all of it, you know, and just living now. And if you're living now and you have a nice apartment and a nice partner and a car and work and food, that's enough for me, you know.
Yeah.
That's enough for me. Because my most valuable thing is myself. is freedom. I've said it a million times lately, my raison d'etre is freedom, my reason for being. And I think personally, the most important reason for any human life is to know freedom and to live that. I don't see anything more valuable. All the success in the world, all the money in the world, all the love, any of that, it's all fine. But the root for me is freedom. And then that's where the peace of mind comes in as well, you see, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much. That was extremely helpful.
Thank you, Dylan, brother. Thank you.